Hi, I'm Jeanie Keltner, and you're here on Soapbox. This tonight is my last night on Soapbox, and to make it easier to make the transition for me, I've invited three of the wonderful women who are going to be talking with you in the months and years to come. Whether they'll be able to last 23 years doing this, I'm not sure. But I will say that it has been a total delight being able to speak my piece at any given moment. And that's a rare thing, to be able to share your ideas and opinions, because so few people want to hear them in real life. And on a TV, you can always turn it off. So don't turn it off. I want to talk to you, first of all, about the people who underwrite this show, who bring the wonderful pizza for our crew, starting with Pieces Pizza, which is at 21st Street between M and N, and serves pizza by the slice, heavenly pizza. Could we get the, is the monitor on? I'd love to have the monitor on. Okay, good enough. Anyway, Pieces Pizza is a wonderful place to hang out. It's open late at night. It also has good cake, good beers, and wonderful pizza. How do you like the pizza, crew?
Yeah.
Whoa, we love it. The other person who helps us with the show is James Israel, who puts out the Humor Times. And the Humor Times is a wonderful little mag with cartoons about politics and commentary about politics, making you laugh about things that really, most of the time, aren't very funny at all. But it's a wonderful gift. It's right in the right price range, both for people who agree with us and for people who don't agree with us. You can choose your friends according to that division. Anyway, it's wonderful to have them here. And I want to tell you, I don't know if we got a slide up for this. Things are a little chaotic because this is the last night, and we're going to have this grand party at the ballroom with free champagne and a champagne fountain and crab and shrimp and lobster, all the things. No, I'm sorry, it's not true. We're not going to have that. But we are going to have a good time for this show. But I do want to tell you that going to be on KVMR coming Wednesday the 7th. I'm going to be talking with Michael Parenti, who is one of it's the 6th, it's Wednesday the 4th. Going to be talking with Michael Parenti, who is one of the funniest political people. There it is on the screen. And that's good because it's complicated. You can get it at 89.5, or you can go on kvmr.org, where the show is streaming as well. Very soon there will be podcasts that you can access. But Michael Parenti is hilarious, and I will always love him for two wonderful things he said, but I only remember one of them at the moment, which was, the ruling elite only wants one thing: everything. And we can see that, the way they're devouring the schools, the way they're devouring whatever is in their path. And our only protection against that is getting more information out, and better information that you could ever consider getting from the corporate press. Because the corporate press is never going to say anything that threatens the corporate press. For example, anyone who likes Bernie Sanders and watched the debate, that first Democratic debate, knows that Bernie Sanders won that debate hands down. And everybody who watched him in the audience, who voted online, voted for Bernie. And there were maybe 20 different sites where you could vote for Bernie, and he won at every single one of them by 20, 30, and 40%. So a clear choice of the people who were watching. The focus groups that each TV station had, including Fox, they all chose Bernie. And some of the Republicans in one of the focus groups said he had changed their mind about who they were going to vote for. One of the things you can find on Facebook right now is all the Republicans who are voting, ordinary Republicans. I don't mean name Republicans, but I mean ordinary Republicans who are saying, hey, I'm registered as a Republican, I'm changing my registration, I'm voting for Bernie. He said, one of them said, I'm a lifestyle Republican, I'm pro-life, he said, but I thought I'd better get pro-my life, or we'll all be working at Walmart for $8 an hour. So I thought, you see, people can understand their paycheck and what their paycheck looks like compared to the budget that they need to make that week work for their family. So everybody knows that Bernie won the debate. You saw every headline the day after the debate. What did they say?
Hillary won.
Hillary won. Hillary sailed through. She had it all down pat. And she was wonderful. She was totally practiced. Totally wonderful. Totally practiced wonderful. She just announced today that she will not reinstate the Glass-Steagall Act. I thought that was interesting. That was the act that allowed those 4 big banks who are her biggest backers to wreck our economy, for which they paid. I forgot. No, they got paid. They got paid trillions of dollars. We printed trillions of dollars and gave it to them to lend it to us. But they didn't do that. They instead put it in the market to drive up the stock prices of their companies so that they would get bigger bonuses. So Hillary's on the wrong side in this case for me, and I know I've alienated some friends already on Facebook, but I do not think she is one of us in the sense that she is really, she said she's against the TPP, Joy, that's your issue, big issue.
She's not now, but she was before.
Now she's against it.
Yes.
When she sees how well Bernie is doing,
Exactly.
woo! And somebody said, well, Bernie is pushing Hillary to the left. Well, you can speak left. But if your big backers are the big banks, and Big Pharma is the next big banker, who are you going to dance with? You're going to dance with the one who brung you. And who pays the piper? Who pays the piper?
We do.
Sets the tune. So I don't like her pipers, and I like Bernie's pipers, because guess who pays for Bernie? Us. Yep.
But Jeannie, I will say, even though, we believe that she lost the debate, she did win the Benghazi hearing. She did very well.
But I don't think that they asked, the real question about Benghazi is why did the U.S. allow a functioning, even flourishing country to be destroyed? Because Libya was one of the jewels of the Middle East. Women were freer, they had jobs, it was free education, he was putting in a great big water system under the ground, to open up farmland in the far side of his country. And we went in and through various maneuvers, too complicated setting up a no-fly zone so he couldn't protect himself, and then sending our people in under the no-fly zone, and then dragging him out, for God's sake, and torturing him and killing him. This is frontier justice. This is nothing to do with, but they didn't ask a thing about that. They just asked about the contretemps. But yeah, she's good. Who can deny? She's a practiced.
She stood up well against those Republicans.
And then she came out and went, yeah.
If that's all a president does, then yeah, but there's more to it than that.
Well, she can stand up to things, but she won't stand up to her backers. I can almost predict that. So I forgot to notice what time we were starting, and I want to give time to introduce. I am really delighted to find 3 wonderful activists. And one of the reasons I'm happy to be leaving Soapbox, which is a very bittersweet moment for me, because I've really enjoyed it so much. And our crews through the ages have been incredible. We have done this show with one person as our crew, running from the booth into this room. And we've had a full crew sometimes, which of course is easier. But one of the reasons I'm happy to be leaving is there's a whole new group of activists who have come up. I was with some of the old folks, and I used to say, if I wanted to feel young, all I had to do was go to a peace action meeting, where I'm usually the youngest person in the room. Everybody gets on with their walkers and their peace signs, etc. But these are the young activists. These are the new people. And I was with some of my older friends, and they said, there's no activism happening today. I said, oh boy, are you wrong. I said, they're in front of Nestle's, they're down in front of the banks, they're out talking about the Trans-Pacific Partnership. These are educated activists, they're really committed. It's beautiful to see. And now they're going to be your hosts on some kind of schedule that I won't even know about until I watch the shows anyway. So I'll just pass on one interesting bit of news. It was in USA Today, so I'm believing that it was true. I almost had time enough to look it up on Snopes because it seems so unlikely. Pope Francis has just endorsed Bernie Sanders. for the presidency. He said, because he seems like a decent man who only wants what's right for everybody. And you know, there are a lot of issues in which I am not about which I'm not pleased about Bernie Sanders. Israel, Palestine being one. He's not strong enough on that for me. He's not strong enough against the war. But he's also not sponsored by any of the people who profit from those situations. And I believe that his sense of justice is acute. And his sense of justice and the fact that he doesn't have to look to them for financial support, I believe he'll slide in our direction, you know. But even if he doesn't, he's more in our direction than anyone we have seen walk into the stage up until this point.
Yeah.
You know, and lefties who go, well, he's not blah, blah, blah. I think, okay, don't vote for him then. You know, wait until somebody comes along who's better. You show me. You know, I got really mad. Anyway, there was another friend. Lost. Yeah. Anyway, politics. It's divisive. Okay, Joy.
It is.
Tell us what got you into activism and what you see as happening on Soapbox.
Well, it's kind of been something. I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and you know, there was a lot of activism going on around me at the time with the Vietnam War and Nixon and everything, you know, that was going on at that time. And I kind of was geared more towards going through the punk rock scene at the time, and we were always treated like the police were always after us. Mm-hmm. People got beat up and hurt. We were always getting chased out of clubs. They closed probably 100 clubs in 1 year. The fire department would come in and say, oh, there's too many people. They close it down. So there was some incidences that happened. A lot of people got hurt or jailed. And it was a very frustrating time. People were very frustrated. But, you know, I settled down a bit, had a daughter, and was doing that for a while. And then I just started noticing things going on around me and kind of got things on Facebook, and I saw like a group called 99 Rise that was coming to Sacramento. They were walking from LA to get to here, and I'm like, okay, I have to meet these people. And that's pretty much where this has started. I mean, that's where my heart is, but I support so many different groups in Sacramento, and I want to be a person that could give them a voice and expose a lot of things that are going on that most people don't know.
The mainstream media is our enemy. I mean, it's not. I was going to say it's not our friend. It's worse than that. Right. They're our enemy.
Yes.
They are not only not telling us the truth, they're telling us lies.
Right.
Constant lies. So
Hillary won.
Yeah, exactly. Hillary won. Yeah, if people don't get the message when they see that. So that's a good beginning. So we'll do a round and then we'll come around to general. Laura Rubalcaba.
So I started out actually first off as a bicycle advocate and an activist, and I was on the City and County Sacramento Bicycle Advisory Committee for the city and county.
It's a better bike town.
And so I did that for a while, and then didn't do much. And then when Occupy came in, I was involved in Occupy. And then when the energy from that kind of dissipated, so did mine. I was pretty depressed for a couple of years.
Sad.
Up until, I guess the things with Trayvon Martin started happening. And then what really pushed me off the couch was when they failed to extend unemployment benefits. At that time, at the end of 2013, it was a very dark time, and there were a lot of people that really deserved an extension of those benefits. And they cut those benefits 3 days after Christmas, and I was just, I had been so angry about things, and it was like, I can be angry and do something about it, or I can be angry and yell at my TV, and that's just not working. So I started getting out.
It's working for the powers that be.
And so I started getting out, and I got involved in that. And then 99 Rise also was something I became very interested in, because I really respect people that put their bodies on the line and do more than just sign a petition or retweet something, that get out there and march 470 miles, I think it was. And then, and now my activism is largely at City Council. I speak at City Council regularly and attend a lot of meetings, so I'll be using my City Council experiences to look for shows to do. So I'll be trying.
And I like this. We're going to have a wide variety of resources because TPP is an international story.
Right.
City Council, of course, is hyper-local. And I do want to say, you know how we have the powers that be love to badmouth anything we do to demoralize us. And they demoralize us around Occupy. But Bernie is based on Occupy. It's the 99%. Right. They gave us that essential meme to say it's the 1% versus the 99. It's like Jim Hightower says, it's not left-right anymore. It's top-bottom.
Right, wrong.
Teeny top, wrong. Big bottom, not wool.
Correct.
Big bottom, baby. Yeah, that big bottom. Right, don't sit around on your big bottom. You know, get out and be the big bottom. Okay, all right, Lola Ellis.
Hi, Jeanie. So I'm the oldest of 4 children, and I was born in Stockton. And both of my parents were brought here as children from Mexico as children. And so I grew up, in a pretty rough part of Stockton, and just the values they instilled in me from, a very early age was, work hard and take care of your family, take care of your neighbors, and, don't ever look down at anybody else. Know where you came from and always find a way to give back. And so, that's the way I was raised. Those, values stayed with me, and always a big sense of responsibility for, the people around me. Being the oldest, both of my parents being the oldest, they really sacrificed a lot to provide for their siblings, to provide a good life for them. And so, they raised me with that same thing, look out for your brothers and sisters. And so that kind of thing, growing up, just was a part of me. And I realized, pretty early on that things were just not set up to help the people that needed the help, as someone that cared about social responsibility just from an early age. When the first time I heard that, I was like, wow, that just really resonated with me. We should all have this mindset of knowing the impact that we have on each other, and feeling the responsibility of acting on that and doing something about that. So for me, I never saw myself as an activist or even something that would, be an activist to me. The civil rights movement, those were activists, people putting themselves on the line. Like, I just never imagined me doing anything like that. But when I heard about, Occupy and the things, people standing up and demanding a better world for themselves and for their neighbors, it just really called to me. And I wanted to be part of that so badly, but I was just not in a place in my life where I could do that. I was in a very difficult marriage for 10 years. I have a beautiful 13-year-old. And it was one of those places for me. I finally did, leave that unhealthy marriage and was able to move to Sacramento, start over a couple years ago. And I heard about this group, 99 Rise. That's how I met these beautiful young ladies.
See how things grow.
Yeah.
And your issues now?
So now it's, 99 Rise. The issue is to rebuild our democracy, to regain our republic, which is what the voice of the people being addressed by our laws. When I saw the way that the laws were all favoring the wealthy, it was just, that is where our society derives its values, from the laws that we create. And so by the laws that we are passing, we're saying that the people that are important are the people that are at the top. The richest few, and that we're expecting them to be responsible enough to distribute and to take care of the bottom. It's not happening. It's not happening at all. So
that's the myth.
So that's what 99 Rise really is all about, is to reclaim our democracy, to reclaim the power that we have as individuals to join together and organize and demand that world that we want to see. And so that is, in one way, that is all of the issues. To me, it addresses all of the issues, income inequality, the injustice that we have with, the CEOs making over, 300 times what their bottom paid employee is just completely unreasonable.
It's immoral.
Yeah, it's definitely immoral.
That's where Bernie hits the nail on the head.
I love that.
What do you think, people? Do you think you're going to have a good time? Can you imagine all the different issues that are going to come up? And can you imagine your own part in that and suggesting issues? We do now have a Facebook page.
Yes, we do.
Soapbox Sacramento. Go on it. Talk to any of the people who are up here and mention issues that you would like to see covered. The other thing that we really want to see happen, we want to see some people learn to work the equipment down here. We need more crew. And that has been a perennial problem for the 23 years that I've been doing this. Otherwise, we wouldn't have tried to do a show with one person. You know, that's unreal. But it's not that hard to learn to work this equipment. If you can work your phone, you can work a TV camera. And learn to work a TV camera with maybe two-week courses, maybe 2 one-week courses. I don't know exactly the schedule as it's set up right now. The courses are usually $50, but once you learn to work the equipment, you can come down and be our crew, and we will help you get certified. And if you can get you and 4 friends to do that, you can make a show to be like Soapbox. This station should be filled with shows like Soapbox. I mean, there should be, every issue should have its people down here talking about it, because people don't know anything. The level of ignorance, both the level of knowledge and the level of ignorance are both shocking to me. When I read the comments on Facebook, for example, some people know so much and other people, well, they don't agree with me. Obviously, they're ignorant. Right, they need to read more. Yeah. But anyway, that's how you can be of help. And I have said, and it would be possible, and this would be possible, if you have supported Soapbox through some of these years and gotten information that you've enjoyed or was useful to you or inspiring, why don't you write a check for what you could afford, and make it out to Access Sacramento. You could put Soapbox in the corner, the little notation corner, and mail it. You'll have to go to your phone book to get the address of Access Sacramento, and send it to Access Sacramento. And if we could collect some money, it's very possible that we could find a way to use that as scholarships for some folks. Maybe people who want to learn how to work the equipment, they could have some of their education down here paid for, or some of the crew could have their memberships paid for. At any rate, I've been happy to support this program myself through the last 10 years or so. For a long time it didn't cost anything, but then things got more, inflation. But anyway, I would love to see it that the community was helping support these 3 wonderful activists who will be incredible hosts and wonderful to hear from. I know are you thinking you're going to rotate on the whole?
Yes.
Yes. And so the Facebook pages, we have 4 minutes, so the Facebook page is where you're going to announce your shows, right? That's good.
Yes.
And then you also can do another favor, spread the word. If you see something on this Facebook page, put it on your Facebook page or tweet it or whatever.
The other
Twerk
important
it.
thing is that we're going to, twerk that out there. We're going to...
With your big butt.
We're gonna get our shows on YouTube, so we're gonna have those available. So this is something we're really looking forward to.
See, we're not only getting a younger set here, we're getting people who can work the technology, which is sad that we haven't been able to do it so far. But it's only 23 years that are lost. We're going to get the next 23 years all down on tape and on YouTube, so that you can show it, you can look at it, and you can show it to your friends. I know that we've had information here that you can't get in other places. And we've had people on so that you can see the faces of people who are out there putting their lives on the line and enjoying taking the risks and the excitement of standing up to the greatest power in the world.
In the history of the world.
In the history of the world, there's never been a power greater than the United States.
And the stakes have never been as high as they are.
I think these years are our last chance. If you want to know the truth, I think
believe
if Bernie
so,
doesn't
too.
get it, I don't know that this country can survive. But tune in. Oh, it's too late. You've missed it already. But tune in yesterday. No. When we do, this is the tape show that we do after we do the live show. But the live show, I'm going to tell folks, I'm going to be talking with a man who believes that we're on the cusp of making a huge change, because Paul Craig Roberts believes that Russia's performance right now in Syria, which you have been totally bamboozled by, is showing the United States that there is now more than one power in the world. We are no longer a unipolar world. We're going to be a multipolar world. And that's going to be very different for the United States, and it will make us a nicer country, and the world will heave a huge sigh of relief if our warlike capacities are diminished. Well, thank you, my dear friends, for being with us. That's perfect. And thank you all the people who have tuned in Monday after Monday at 8 o'clock on cable access. Oh, getting the lump in my throat. I know I've said goodbye to other things like the paper and then this show, but life goes on, and it really has been tremendously fun. You know, one of the earliest pictures of me is talking to my sweet uncle who's down on one knee, and I'm about this tall, and I'm telling him something like that, you know. So I've been shaking this finger at people for way too long, and so now, oh, ladies, shake your fingers. Let's
We
tell
got
these
it.
folks what to do,
We got it.
who you need to call, and what you need to think and do. Thank you for being with Soapbox. You've always been here, and you know why. Because people really do matter. Yeah.
I want